Honesty, passion, experience. It's Timberwolves Explosion hosted on the Paladino Live Network. And now, your host, Paladino Joey. Hello again, Timberwolves fans. Are you ready for the explosion of Timberwolves basketball? I am your host, Paladino Joey, or Joey Awijan. Timberwolves Explosion is available on all of your favorite podcasting apps, and I thank each and every one of you once and always for downloading and listening to the show. It's a great pleasure to be back on board with you once again today. As well, the Minnesota Timberwolves are back in the Western Conference Finals. After a couple of crappy games, they destroy the Oklahoma City Thunder and make the series 2-1. And that's where we stand at this moment. Well, that's all you're getting. Okay, maybe not. Well, at the length of the show, I'm guessing you're thinking it's longer than that. But, well, it's kind of a back and forth series. The good news is this does feel different than last year. Like last year, it was like after the Wolves lost their first two games, the series is probably over. But you never know, especially losing home court like that. In this case, the Wolves lost 2 games on the road. Vince Germano, of course, coming out of Melbourne, Australia, telling me basically to keep my head up and not let not give up yet. There's always a chance. The team will make adjustments. Well, they made adjustments, that's for sure. Them being the Timberwolves, of course. After a couple of crappy games, 114-88 in Game 1. Things looked kind of good early on in that one, and everything just snowballed, and the third quarter was nasty. And almost the same thing happened in Game number 2, a 118-103 loss. And then Game 3 is 143-101, with the Timberwolves winning by 42 points, which is crazy because now the Timberwolves lead the point differential by 1. That's insane. The point differential in the series? That's just absolutely insane. How does that even happen? But it happened, so the Timberwolves actually... yeah, okay, you get the idea. We're up +1 now in this series because of Game 3. Hopefully it's an encouraging sign. Remember back in 2016, me and Vince were talking about it just last night, I believe? Yeah, last night. Here, of course, it'd be earlier in the day there because it's opposite. Obviously, they're in the future, as we like to call it. The Golden State Warriors absolutely destroyed the Cleveland Cavaliers in games 1 and 2. It was a mockery. It felt like they're just rubbing it in their face, and it was super annoying. And anybody listening knows I can't stand the Warriors. And then the Cleveland Cavaliers absolutely obliterated the Golden State Warriors in game 3, and it's like, okay, well, that's nice. That's a good. There's a chance. That's good. That shows that they're like a little bit more serious here than we thought. And then game 4, they blew it again. It's like, oh God, they're done. But then all of a sudden, everything changed. Game 5, 6, and 7. It was just absolutely delicious. Right, Worf? What do you think, Worf?
Delicious.
Of course, Lieutenant Worf from Star Trek The Next Generation chiming in his thoughts on the Cleveland Cavaliers beating the Warriors back in 2016. Yeah. Yeah. I'm probably not alone in people that don't like that team too much. Well, they're done. Got to move on. Obviously, the frustration in this series is SGA, and you just touch him and it's a foul. It's ridiculous. And what were they calling him? The free throw merchant yesterday in Target Center. That was pretty cool. I swear my upstairs neighbor was going to the game. I swear. I was afraid to ask her because it looked like she had a white shirt that said playoffs, and it was like maybe a couple hours before the game. I'm thinking, is she a Timberwolves fan? Is she going to the game? Well, she must have had a lot of fun. So, they only won by 42, but we got to recap the first 2 games. But even before that, since this is going to be a one-segment shot, there aren't any call-ins this time, are there? Maybe I'll check an emergency check here before I, be a jerk and forget to check. Otherwise, we'll look at the East Finals just a little bit. They're obviously not the priority for this show. It's going to be a one-segment shot. That's probably going to be the way here for most of the time, going into the, eventually state of the Timberwolves. Hopefully we're talking about an NBA title. There's still a chance for that, believe it or not. I don't see anything at the moment. I don't think so. Vince would have probably told me, or maybe someone like a Tanae might have told me. I remember I lost a call from Tanae a long time ago. It was like earlier in the year or something. It was Oh, I felt so bad. I don't know. I don't know if it's the Yahoo. I might have to change it. Maybe PaladinoLive@gmail.com. That seems to be more reliable. I'm probably going to change that. PaladinoLive@gmail. I'll probably, yeah, Gmail. That just seems to be more reliable. Yahoo works sometimes, but I don't know. Something funny's going on. I don't know. I also, oh yeah, and Kevin Flores, yeah, it's like there were comments in the Spotify section, and I encourage people to comment more and more in there. Apparently, Spotify is encouraging us podcasters to do that as well, to encourage our listeners to comment in the comments section. Yeah, I've said comment about 50 times. Kevin Flores, locally, yep, we worked together for a couple years, right? Boston Scientific, he's like, Wolves in 5, Joey. That was after the Wolves knocked down the Lakers, and a lot of us were like, wow, that was pretty cool. And yes, Kevin, yep, Flores, hope I can hear from you some more and more. Hope you're listening and like the show. He must be a listener if he's commenting on the Spotify, the actual Spotify for the show. So great to hear from you, Kevin. And I'm sorry that I screwed around and even mentioned your comment. That's kind of mean. So my apologies there. Though I did like it or love it or whatever they call that, where you click on the heart. So what's next? The Eastern Conference Finals. Just in case you're listening to, shout out Robert Draper. Love you, brother. Coming out of work as well. Yep, we got to see these Wolves kick some butt. We really need to see this. This needs to keep happening. Eastern Conference Finals. Yeah, those clowns over there. Yeah, I know. They have a chance to be pretty dangerous as well, but we'll worry about that if we ever get a chance. The Indiana Pacers lead the series 2-0 after a dramatic comeback and victory over the New York Knicks, kind of taking you back to the mid-'90s when Reggie Miller had his miraculous, was it like, what did he have, like 7 points in like, I can't remember, was it just a couple seconds? It was like ridiculous. Wasn't it like 13 seconds he scored like 7 points? It was like a steal and a 3 or something. Halliburton winding up with 31, and of course a very big shot late. 4 for 12 from downtown, but that one was not a 3-point shot. That's the funny part. He thought he'd beaten the Knicks, so he's doing the choke sign like Reggie Miller did, infamously, to Spike Lee. The girl upstairs infamously is thumping around. Yeah, some people don't understand you. You don't want to walk that hard. It's kind of annoying. Yeah. Anyhow, I know I'm whining here, but that was the ignorant side, like you're doing a choke sign, like you just beat the Knicks. No, man, it was a 2-pointer. Oh, well. The Pacers still won anyway by 13-10 in OT. Final score of 138-135. The Pacers setting the tone early here in this series, and a lot of people thinking the Pacers will win the Eastern Conference this year. And, well, they have. They're on a winning streak in terms of the overall like playoffs series type of deal, when it comes to the Knicks. So they've been doing a good job. Obi Toppin, who killed the Wolves multiple times. That was a really annoying back and forth series this past season with the Pacers. I believe the Wolves lost both of them, didn't they? So that could be a huge hindrance. Obi Toppin was basically doing what that what's that guy's name? In Golden State was driving us absolutely crazy. Kuminga. I almost called him Kuzma. Kuminga. It drove me nuts. Like, my God, he made another 3. You little SOB. Blankety blank, blank, blank. That's what it was feeling like. And then Obi Toppin. It was like the same stinking thing like earlier in the year. So that was what was kind of pissing me off about Kuminga. It's like Obi Toppin all over again. And like celebrating on our, like dancing on our grave type of thing. It's like, yeah. We get it. You did well, but jeez, you haven't been that great. Don't get too hot. Don't get too haughty, dude. So it was really annoying when Obi Toppin did that, and really annoying when Kuminga did that, time and time again. Kuminga's more subtle than Toppin, though. I mean, what do you expect? Obi's from like New York or something. They like to rub crap in your face. But generally, I like New Yorkers, but not all of them. Not all of them, okay? But generally, maybe the more old school types. T.J. McConnell, 10 points or whatever off the bench. Naismith, holy crap, he had an awesome game. 8 of 9 from downtown. A huge part of that massive comeback that left the New York Knicks pretty much stunned and depressed and heartbroken and all that. So, I don't know. I mean, the New York Knicks have been trying to win a championship since the early 70s. What has it been, over 50 years now? So, it's a shame. Of course, the Pacers have no titles. OKC, as the Supersonics, won the championship in 1979, but as OKC, of course, no title. They got to the NBA Finals in 2021 and lost. after winning game one, beating the crap out of the Heat in game one. Everybody thought, I told ya, yeah, LeBron sucks and the flop and all that. But then the Heat took care of business pretty dramatically after that one. And you know what? I enjoyed it because I didn't like the Thunder that much back then. I really didn't. They were basically what the Warriors became not too long after that. Like, a little too full of themselves. And it was nice to see them get, put in their place. Yeah, I mean, look, yep, we're seeing it right now, flashing here. Pacers trail by 5, 3 right there. I believe that's Naismith, or was that Turner? What the heck? Well, whoever it was. Well, anyway, and then that's goofy, what's his name, going back, Halliburton. It was actually a 2-point shot, even though he was beyond the arc and everything, but it was like, he shot it a millisecond too early. But then again, if it was, no, that was not Turner. That was Naismith that hit that shot. Sorry, the first one. That 5-point turnaround in a very short span. Yeah, it also kind of depends on the timing on the release of the shot. And it is ironic, Obi Toppin's going up against his old, his old club. He was there for a little bit. I'm trying to remember who the heck was Toppin even drafted by. It's like all over the place. He's been kind of around. He was drafted by the Knicks. That's right, he was. That's right. 8th overall. Then I remember he was one of the main prospects like we were looking at here in Minnesota, not assuming that the Timberwolves would get the number 1 pick that year. Thankfully we did. And it's a guy named Anthony Edwards. Let's see, Obi Toppin, Anthony Edwards, it's close. Not. No, it's really not at all. It just isn't. The Pacers impressive. They're kind of like the Thunder a little bit, actually, to me. They kind of are. Aggressive defensively, very fast, athletic, explosive at times. So there's kind of a similarity. You get past OKC, it's kind of like the varsity version, and then Indiana might be the semi-junior varsity version. And you might end up seeing both of those teams in the NBA Finals. I'm sure most of you out there are predicting it's going to be Pacers and Oklahoma City Thunder, but I hope not. Karl Anthony Towns' impressive performance, 35 points, but Jalen Brunson, 43. Unfortunately, in a loss. They combined for 78 points, Brunson and Mr. Carl. So, yeah, that's impressive. Brunson did have 7 turnovers, though. Assist-to-turnover ratio, not real cute there. 5 assists, 7 turnovers. Yikes. Got into foul trouble, did Jalen Brunson. Carl, great game, though. I mean, all the respect. Got in a little bit of foul trouble, whereas Brunson and Anunoby got in a ton of foul trouble. Now I'm taking this a little too long. I apologize. Let's keep going. Let's talk about the Wolves, damn it, very shortly here. Pacers, of course, win game 2, 114-109. I'll make this a lot more brief. That first game was pretty dramatic. This one, Siakam just went absolutely berserk, 39 points. It was the Naismith game in the first game. And Halliburton only 5 of 16, 3 of 10 from downtown. 11 assists and 1 turnover. Good for him. So good job there. But generally speaking, not his best game. Toppin only 4. But Pascal Siakam, the former Toronto Raptor, he's got a ring already with them. So he's got some ring cred, as they might say, bringing home a championship for Toronto before eventually winding up with the Indiana Pacers. Good for him. And I might take them to the NBA Finals. In fact, there's a pretty good chance that he will be doing that. Pacers hosting the Knicks very soon here. In fact, maybe by the time I'm wrapping up the show, I'll be talking about that, depending on how I record this. Yeah. So, no, I'm going to try to do this in one shot. So, Pacers are up 2-0, and I do think the Pacers will go to the NBA Finals. I think the Pacers win the Eastern Conference. I'm sticking to that prediction. We're going to go with 5 games. Knicks will win game 3 or 4, something like that. Yes, and I wouldn't. Yeah, I think the Pacers win the 5th game. I think they close it out in Madison Square Garden. At absolute longest, it'll be 6 games where the Pacers close it out at home. In I keep making the 2 different Gainbridge Fieldhouse. So that's the next one. He'll be gaining bridges in the Fieldhouse. Monday, Memorial Day. Hopefully, it's a Memorial Day massacre of the OKC Thunder, where the Wolves tie up the series. So that's what's up and coming. So again, guys, staying healthy. Thank you. Knocking on wood and hoping that continues. Yes, we talked about the 114-88. Just what the bleepity bleep. It was a close game. The Wolves had an early lead. They were maintaining the early lead. Julius Randle was playing pretty damn good. Ultimately 28 points and 9 of 13. Anthony Edwards shot like he missed a lot of shots. 5 of 13. Not good. 3 of 8 isn't too bad from downtown, but could be better. 4 turnovers, not good. Got into foul trouble. Jaden McDaniels fouled the flip out, and I was flipping out as well. Yeah, Conley looked like he was, older than me, which is pretty old. You don't want to be 45, 46 and playing pro basketball. You just don't. Dante sucked. I mean, he sucked. 3 of 14. Get out of here. Get out of here, man. Get out of here. 3 of 12 from downtown. 9 bleeping points. Naz Reid, pathetic. 1 of 11. Are you bleeping serious? Missed all of his 3-point shots. Yeah, we'll be hearing from the forecast. I should probably get that on here about now because I'll probably forget because it's text. It's not like on Twitter or anything. Vince Germano, is this the most beautiful town in Victoria, huh? I'll get back to that one in a second. Where's the forecaster? Come on now. Where is it? Oh, bloody hell. I don't want anybody calling me right now. Yep. Marcus was saying, this was actually a while back, but he was saying Nas showed that he's not ready for a big contract along with Dante DiVincenzo, and it looks like Steph, and yeah, apologize about that, kind of was getting suddenly a call out of nowhere. It's like, oh, yeah. But yes, the forecaster, yep, saying all that, and he was saying they better win the next game. This was last Friday. Yeah, just recently. Yeah, this is after getting beat in game number, after they lost in game 2 on Thursday. They better win the next game. The only good thing is Nas shouldn't be expecting a big contract or nah. So, we'll see. We'll see. They probably shouldn't. This could be definitely hurting their negotiations, but I suppose what happens the rest of this series and all that, you never know. But yeah, 1 of 11. That's bleepity bleep. That's game 1. Walker, 3 of 11. That's Walker. Terrence Shannon Jr. got in there, looked promising for a couple seconds, but then, they took him back. Yeah, whatever. Let's just move on. Idiots. So frustrating. That was game number 1, obviously. So, really, in a lot of ways, the story of game 1. The Wolves were doing pretty good in the first half, and then all of a sudden, the Thunder just kind of made it, they just kind of had a little surge at the last second at the end of the second quarter. The Wolves were kind of pulling away a little bit. What did they have, like an 8-9 point lead? And then the Thunder made it like basically, they're down by just 4. And it's like, it was like a very quick little sequence of like a 5 points, I believe, to a sequence to make things a little different. And then that sequence basically continued all of the third quarter and all of the fourth quarter. 32-18 in the third, 38-22 in the fourth. And it's just like, what the devil, man? What the heck? So that was extremely frustrating. Game number 2, 118-103. At least the Wolves got 100 points. Yeah, BS. Jaden McDaniels, much better performance, but he still got into foul trouble. 3 blocks. Also got frustrated a bit and such with Shea. Anthony Edwards in game 1 got frustrated with Shea. Also, like, we're not taking your BS. Basically, kind of tossing the ball in his direction and got a tech due to Anthony Edwards. This is game number 2. Nikhil Alexander-Walker wasn't that bad, but he wasn't, but he was actually just fine in this one. Dante kind of meh. This is game 2, but game 1 was definitely worse. They were all a little bit better, generally speaking, but then Julius Randle got kind of swallowed up. 2 of 11. What happened? 0 of 3 from downtown. Anthony Edwards, 1 of 9 from downtown. Another one of those blink awful nights. Randall also had 4 turnovers to go with his 5 assists. Conley, again, looked like he was 50. He didn't look like he was 45. He looked like he was 50. 1 of 6. He just hit 1 3-pointer and was just ineffective. Yet he was still plus 14 because of his influence on the floor, I suppose. But didn't play particularly well. It's kind of like you can't win for losing. Dante DiVincenzo was a minus 27. These are the frickin' turnovers. It's not like he shot okay, basically, but then 4 turnovers, and again, minus 27. I don't even know how you could be that bleeping bad. It's frickin' stupid. McDaniels, again, much better night. Only a minus 4 in a game. The Wolves got beat by, 15? So he had a really nice night. You could argue he was the best player, even though Ant had the most points. Nikhil Alexander-Walker, anyway, with 17 on 5 of 8. That's pretty good. Naz Reid missed all 5 of his threes, but wound up with 10 points somehow, some way. Good for him. He actually even added 2 blocks and a steal, so that's nice, but still not enough. Similar again, the third quarter. The Wolves were doing okay, kind of hanging in there. This game was actually worse because the Wolves just weren't ahead at all. It was kind of like the Thunder were just kind of maintaining a small lead that kept growing a little bit. Got to halftime, and then the third quarter was just, can I just say it? It was basically what Chris Finch would have said. He just come out with bullshit, and that's pretty much what it was. It was a bullshit third quarter, and the Wolves lost by 14 in that one, and ultimately 15 at the end of the game. Lost by 14 in that quarter. Yep, trailing by 8 at the half, which was disappointing. And Wolves make a little surge late in the fourth, but it was just not enough. Every time the Wolves did anything, it was kind of like OKC was playing that obnoxious little song, anything you can do, I can do better. I can do anything better than you. And it was just like, just want to jump through the screen and strangle them. But it wasn't meant to be. Shea Gilgeous-Alexander, 13 of 15, and again, ridiculous. Everybody is... Yep, I mean, this town's starting to not like him very much, and, well, I don't blame any of you that would say that. Jalen Williams, 12 of 20, 26 points. Yikes. 26, 10, and 5 right there. This Garnett number's there. When you want to do that 20, 10, 5 thing that they always bragged about. Chet was 1 of 6 from downtown, but he did have 22 points. Chet Shoes Holmgren. Yep, he's got his Chet shoes. I'm just kidding. 22 points. I don't think they'll be wearing Chet shoes out there. They'd be kind of heavy. And knowing Chet and his, when he gets hurt, he's out forever. Yeah, if he wore Chet shoes, he'd be like, he'd be bleeped. I think his ankles would be, well, I don't know. He'd have calf injuries, I think. His ankles would be okay. They'd be protected pretty good with the, the protection. But then, yeah, he'd probably injure his calf or hamstring because of the weight of the shoes compared to basketball shoes. Nick Van Exel's right, though. You look at all of these shoes, they are kind of low tops, and that's kind of partially why a lot of these guys, he was saying how that's probably why a lot of these Achilles are popping. It's like it's not supposed to be happening so much. So, yeah, interesting. Caruso with 9 points off the bench. But it was just a game that just felt like, it was kind of like deja vu all over again, as... what was his name? Yogi Berra would say. Yogi Berra has all of his weird quotes. Deja vu all over again. Yeah, interesting. Anyhow, game number 3, if it still exists, was awesome. 143, 101, not 111. No, we don't want to do that. 34-14. Yeah, to open up the first quarter. Yep. The Wolves swallowed up Chet Holmgren. 10 points, 3 of 7 overall. Shea Gilgeous-Alexander, you son of a gun. How many free throws did he shoot in this game? How many? How many free throws did Shea shoot? 4. Yeah, he made them all, but he shot 4. That's what I'm talking about. 4 of 13 overall. Yep. And a lot of the key here was kind of that Jordan rules type stuff. Like, yeah, you don't have to just, oh my God, we got to stop Shea. Oh my God, stop him. And when the Wolves focused on, well, kind of stopping everybody rather than just stopping Shea, well, they did stop everybody for the most part, except for Dylan Jones, 4 of 5, and the garbage time, and Jay Mitchell, 6 of 11 with 14, but he played a 6-man type of a role in this one. Isn't that weird? There's two. There's Jalen Williams and Jalen Williams. Well, Jalen had 2 points off the bench, missing all 6 of his 3-point attempts. Jalen Williams, the main guy, 13 points, 3 of 9 overall. With the number of turnovers, starters had 10 turnovers for 14 total. That's just the Oklahoma City Thunder. The Wolves only had 10 turnovers. Nice job. Anthony Edwards had 4 of them. Jeez, man. Conley had 1. Conley, did I say? Yeah, Conley had 1. And Nikhil, for some reason, had 3. But he was all right. 5 of 9. 12 points, back-to-back good games for him. One of the stories of the game, other than Naz Reid getting 10 points in 19 minutes, thank you. That's a lot better, thank you. One of the stories of the game was the little surge, though. It was 7 points in 3 minutes or something like that. That was kind of fun. Or actually, it was even better than that. But in 13 minutes, Terrence Shannon Jr. entering the rotation for 13 minutes, like I said, 15 points. Notice I'm still clapping. Yes, please. Play the guy. Isn't he older than Anthony Edwards? Play the play the frickin' guy, for heaven's sake. Play him. Please? He's not raw. He's not that raw. He's older than Anthony Edwards. Yes, he's a rookie, but he's older than Anthony Edwards. Okay? Please play him. Please play him. It's like a caged lion. It's a caged lion, and you let him out, and good things are happening. Gobert, yeah, he's been pretty quiet. You notice I barely mentioned him at all because he's been kind of invisible. Surprise, surprise, everyone. Jaden McDaniels, 10 points over in 26 minutes. did not get into foul trouble, and that's, again, one of the keys here. When you focus on stopping everybody, just play freaking defense and stop panicking about this MVP guy. We all got to, oh my God, got to stop Shea. Well, you didn't stop him because you just ended up fouling him, or, at least the refs are saying you fouled him. Yeah. There was at least a couple plays where literally the guy was not touched. He was not touched. Wasn't even touched. And it's a foul. It's a foul, and he's going to the line for an and one. And you just want to, not toss the ball to Shea Alexander. You want to chuck it at his frickin' face. You want to break his nose. I'm not even kidding. You want to give him a concussion in the back of his head, like, bleep you. And you want to do that to the refs, too. But, don't do that. Don't do as I say or as I do. Just don't. Just do neither. I'm obviously it's all just what you want to do. We all want to punch someone in the face or whatever, no matter where we are, whether it's at work or I don't know, or at the mall or wherever you're at, or at a restaurant when these people won't shut up for 5 seconds. I mean, you just want to pick up that. You just want to pick up that freezing cold water and dump it down their face. But no, you don't do that. You just think it. So, other than that, Mrs. Lincoln, how was the play? When you're not focused on this one guy and getting stupid foul calls, you might have a chance at this thing. And hopefully the Wolves have figured something out, because weren't most of these games pretty close during the season? I don't think the Wolves beat the Thunder by like 30 points, 40 points this year. And we beat them by 40? 2, right? Didn't we beat them by 42 in this one? Yeah, 42. We did. Isn't that cool? So, do it again, I guess. Maybe not by that much. If you can, that's great. If this is just going to be the story and the Wolves are going to thrash these sons of guns, great. If we're going to bury the Thunder somehow, that would be amazing. Do a 93 Bulls. That's something I keep bringing up. I've been bringing it up at work, been bringing it up here and there. What was it on, like, social media, whatever. Do a 93 Bulls. What did the 93 Bulls do? They fell down 2-0. They did not have home court advantage over the number 1 seed New York Knicks, who looked like they were maybe the team that could knock the Bulls off and finally win a title again over there. It's only it's only 32 years ago, but then they still don't have a title since the 70s. Poor guys. It's actually been a longer wait since that conference final, or even the 94 final, that and the next year when they lost in Game 7, compared to the 70s versus like those mid-90s. Isn't that crazy when you do that math? The Bulls came roaring back and won all 4 games. Yep, came back and won all 4 games. It's pretty amazing. And Michael Jordan had a big smile on his face. They were very excited. They got it done, and to the finals they went to play the Phoenix Suns, who had the best record in basketball. And they beat them pretty soundly. The Bulls' confidence was off the charts. Hopefully the Wolves can do something like that here. Anthony Edwards is pretty early in his career, but like I said in the last episode, Rudy Gobert, Mike Conley's not walking through that door. Gobert might not be, in the next few years here. So. It is what it is. Randall, we'll see. But it's a golden opportunity here. Hopefully the Wolves can take it. Leonard Miller actually scored 11 points. That's a guy that's been, oh man. Yep. Obviously the receiver of some assists from Rob Dillingham. He had 4 assists in 7 minutes and 50 seconds. Yep, that's a question. That's something we'll be talking about as we head into the off season. Hopefully the off season isn't too soon here. Hopefully it's after they're holding the Larry O'Brien, not Lombardi, the Larry O'Brien Trophy in about 3 weeks or so. That'd be wonderful. Like Rob Dillingham is definitely a topic going into the offseason. Guys like Leonard Miller, Josh Minot, Luka, not so much Luka, but Luka Garza, we'll see. I like him. He had 7 points. Miller, like 11 points, though, in 7 minutes and 41 seconds. That's amazing stuff. Yes, it's in garbage time, but I think he can play a little bit. And a lot of us were told that he can play a little bit, and this Tim Conley knows what he's doing. Like the Jalen Clark pick looks like a real good one. Shannon looks like a real good pick. And Miller potentially could be. So we'll see. Maybe the only way they get playing time is if like one or two of these guys isn't here anymore. like a Walker or something. So we'll have to wait and see how that all turns out going forward. Do I like the Wolves' chances going forward in this series? Sure. Why not? I mean, if you can beat this team by 42 points, surely there's something there. Surely there's something there. There has to be. There has to be something there. This can't be just oh, they had a good game and now reality's coming back and Thunder are going to just beat the Wolves by 22 again. Bleep that. Come out and take it to them again. Even if it's like a 13-point win, 20-point win, a 5-point win, a last-second buzzer beater, whatever. Beat them again. They absolutely can get it done. I hope it's not something that's like a nail-biter. I hope the Wolves win by double digits, like 13, whatever. Why the hell can't you win by 13 and tie this thing up? And then it's a best out of 3. Yeah, Game 5, back to OKC. Game 6 back here. And Game 7 on the road. And who knows? This team is battle-tested. Anthony Edwards has won a Game 7 on the road against the defending NBA champions. That's not beating some mad team you were supposed to beat. Like, say, in the Garnett era when we finally won a bleeping series, the Wolves had home court in those series. And they were supposed to win. Not only did they have home court, they were supposed to win. Obviously, the year before, the Wolves had home court. They were not supposed to win. That was a pretty good Lakers team. And what were they like, just off like a three-peat or something, weren't they? So, I mean, it was only a three-peat, that's all. But you defeat the defending champions on the road in Game 7. Pretty impressive. Now, Anthony Edwards started that game terribly but finished strongly. And he told Chuck to bring his ass, because Chuck has not been to Minnesota in nearly 20 years. Well, bring your ass. Well, yeah. We'll see what happens. Anthony, keep bringing your ass. 12 of 17, that's bringing your ass. It is. That's pretty good. 30 points, 17 field goal attempts, 5 of 8 from downtown. Not bad, eh? Julius Randle plus 38. Oh, just gorgeous. How many turnovers did Julius Randle have? 0. And he only played 30 minutes. That's, in a lot of ways, the best part. Not only did the Wolves crush this bleeping team and show them a little bit like, hey, this isn't last year's Timberwolves where we, kind of semi-shriveled up after Kyrie Irving and Luka Doncic, cut our hearts out, basically, in games 1 and 2. Sons of biscuits. But this team is different. This is definitely a different situation here. When the Wolves finally won a game last year in the East Finals, they were down 3-0. You know that? 3-0. It's depressing. This time, it's 2-1. It's not easy, but also the games we lost were on the road. Okay, and who's to say now? Who's to say what can happen here? That the Wolves' momentum could be on the Wolves' side and things could go pretty dramatically different. Last year, again, the Wolves lost both of their games at home and in heartbreaking, frustrating fashion. Game 3 was just bull crap. Like, it just felt like, yeah, they're freaking done. Oh, and we won Game 4. Yeah! It was like at the last second. We finally did things right. We finally actually made the right plays at the end of the game, unlike the first 2 or 3 games of the series. In this case, we just thrashed them into the ground. And this is a better team than the frickin' Mavericks last year. Yes, the Mavericks had 2 aces. Not asses, aces. Especially Kyrie. I have no problem with Kyrie at all. 0. The guy is, I like Kyrie Irving, doggone it. I do. He's an assassin. And I think he's a legend of the game, as they say. Luka, of course, he's still building that legend, so God bless him. And I took him off of Mount Dislikemore, so don't worry. I'm not going to trash on him right now. 2 very good players, but, and they had some nice big men, too. That Dallas team was pretty good, but were they as good as this OKC team? I don't think so. Probably not. They deserve to be there. Heck, they beat OKC to get there, which is impressive. They deserve to be there at the time. But again, I think, this is a better team than the Wolves were playing last year in the West Finals. And the fact that you absolutely thrashed them into the ground like this is pretty cool. So there is a chance things could change here. There really is. Like, what was it, the Boston Bruins years ago? It's a different sport, but it's still mentality, confidence, mentality of the both sides. What were they, getting beat pretty handily by a Vancouver team that had a better record and home ice and all that cute stuff? And then all of a sudden, the Bruins just started torching and thrashing the goaltender, who was a Hall of Famer, Roberto Luongo. All of a sudden, it was like 6-1, type of games. That's frying that goalie, boy. And things changed so dramatically. Eventually, Boston got to Game 7 and won the cup on the road. So there it was, stuff like that. And just the whole mentality, the confidence of that Vancouver team, it changed after they had pounded Boston into the ground a few games in a row. The Boston Bruins changed the whole momentum of that series and won it. So hopefully the Timberwolves can do the same here going forward. Is it going to be Wolves in 6? Boy, would I like to stick to that prediction when I opened up this series. Could it happen? Stepping out in good faith, and I mean really good faith here. Somehow, in some way, the Wolves will win in 7. Wolves in 7. Yeah, Pacers in 6. We'll say Pacers in 6, and it's going to be Minnesota, Indiana in the finals, and it's going to be amazing to be there, and a real shot at a world championship. And it'll be kind of like we'll say like the North Stars and Penguins all those years ago. Back to hockey again. Two teams that had never won a championship. It was the first time in, I forget how many years. Was it like 30-some years that two teams had never won a title? Or was it 40-some years at the time? It was forever. Like every final, there's always a team that had won before. So like if the Knicks get there, they have won a title, believe it or not. And you know what? Oklahoma City technically has, just not in that city. Not in Oklahoma City. It was in Seattle. The franchise does have a championship. But just like the Sacramento Kings have a championship, they were the Rochester Royals way back in the early 1950s. I think it was 1951 if I remember correctly. It counts. It counts. So it is what it is, right? So this would be two franchises that absolutely have no titles if it is Minnesota Indy. And wouldn't that be cool? A lot of us thought that was going to happen in 2004, all those years ago. Indiana had a great record. I think Indiana had the best record in the league. Minnesota had number 2, I think, if I remember correctly. But then the Lakers and Pistons played instead. It was the complete opposite. And thankfully the Pistons, sorry, Vince. I like that Pistons team. I like Chauncey Billups, so I'm sorry, Vince. He's going to kill me now. Anyhow, with all of that said, let's go to fan interaction if I can. Sorry if I've been kind of babbling back and forth, but definitely passionate, excited. It's an opportunity. This may very well end up being a gentleman's sweep, but that would be kind of dumb. Put it this way, the Wolves lose this in 5. Be like, really? Like, what happened? How do you beat a team by 42 and then not win another game? That'd be weird. And I agree with ALBJ4. Royce Lewis continues to be worthless. MN Twins. I agree. What happened to Royce? The guy, he sucks. Royce Lewis sucks. What is he, like batting like 150? Three RBI in like 20 games? What happened? He's garbage right now. Yeah. All the way since last August. Okay, I know I'm going on a rant here and I apologize. Minnesota Twins takes followed me. Thank you. I believe I followed back. Nice to. So, Vince Germano, Tane, and Levi retweeted the most recent episode. Thank you, guys. Thank you. You were a beast in one of them. What were we saying? I think. Okay, yeah, that was a conversation a while back. May 20th. So that was before the last episode. I do believe. Well, yeah, something like that. Vince was a big-time hater in his... Okay, this is new. Okay, Tane out of New Zealand, of course, says Vince was a big-time hater in his call-ins. Deservedly so, though. Plenty of plebs out there. Yeah, that'd be like, some of the Wolves fans aren't that great. No, they're not. Just like other teams. Vince says, hey, I said you were a beast in one of them. Woo! Yep, yes, that Tane's actually a beast, yes. Yes, Vince does love us, yes. Yes, he does. He's frustrated with some of the other Minnesota fans that were just being dummies, I guess. And I don't want to hate on Bronny. No, that's another thing. I realized I didn't even comment on that part of I think it was Vince's first call. Like, why are people beating up on the guy? Like, he's doing his best and all of that. And like, what are you going to get with the 54th bleeping pick in the draft? You're not going to get Luka Doncic there, basically, is what he's trying to tell us. Or, what was it, like once every 30, 40 years, you might get a Manu Ginobili, maybe. It maybe not 30, but 20ish years. It sometimes, you'll get a Manu Ginobili level a player like All-Star, maybe a Hall of Famer, maybe. But it's extremely rare, and it's Ronnie James, and it's the guy. The guy's your franchise player rather than saying bleep you. We're taking whoever we want. So, yeah, it's like that's why people want to come to LA because they treat their players right. Understand. Good thoughts, Vince. Honestly, yes. I tend to agree. And at the very least, fair enough, mate. At the very least. Today, jumping in, saying, I just wrote weak. I was just like, bleep. I was mad. I just wrote weak. That's all I wrote. Today says, the bench absolutely, yes. God, yes. The bench absolutely stinks and has stunk since the Lakers series. Edwards rolled ankles. Not ankle, but ankles. Must be really adding up, too. Yep. Oh, God. Yeah, believe me, I'm terrified of that. Yep. Anyhow, continuing, I was saying it's depressing. The bench has been letting us down the entire bleeping postseason, except for, the one game in the Lakers series. Nas was awesome. I was saying same old BS in Minnesota sports. Today was saying regular season Nas Reed and last postseason's Donnie DiVincenzo Wolves would be, if we had them basically, Wolves would be in great position. Unfortunately, we're getting an undrafted Nas and Dante the Bricklayer. Yep. I was saying, that's the difference. So annoying watching them play. It's like garbage over and over again. Even Nas, been in multiple scoreless games. Yeah, multiple scoreless games. Remember I talked about that on the last episode. I ranted about something, right? Yep. Okay, yep. Oh, yeah. Okay, today was saying history. Yep. Because he was showing, how the Wolves were getting beat by the Thunder, basically. Yep, history in the making. That's what the Timberwolves shared it, basically. And then today quoted it. History? Yep. Worst team to go back-to-back to the conference finals. Woo-hoo. I was saying so maddening. I'm at a loss for words. I've been quiet all night. That was game 2. And today says Minnesota sports. Yep. Depressing, man. And then today jumps in, says Shannon Jr. is like a mini Randall. Like having a linebacker out there. Haha. Wow, that was awesome. Offensively, that is, he says. Yep. I apologize for not responding. What the heck's wrong with me? Today says Mitchell Robinson might be my favorite non-Timberwolves player left in the playoffs. What a workhorse. Yep. I do believe he's on the New York Knicks. Yes, he is. He was hurt with ankle injuries starting out the season. He was even on my fantasy team, but he was on the IL or whatever the whole bleeping time because of that. So I believe I eventually let him go because he was out till February. That's too long. So unfortunately, my fantasy team didn't do a whole lot. I think we lost in the first round if we even made the playoffs. But yes, Shannon Jr. He might be a real game changer in this series. I don't like just keeping a rotation out there of players that aren't producing. Now they finally did produce. Well, and funny, they produced in the game. Shannon Jr. enters the lineup. Yeah, wake up, guys, wake up. This isn't just your little punch in and punch out type of thing. You're not just punching in and punching out. This is the Western Conference Finals. This is the opportunity of a lifetime. Dan Marino thought he was going to be back after getting blown out in the 1984 Super Bowl, 84 season, you get the idea, by the San Francisco 49ers. How many times did Dan Marino return to the Super Bowl? Anyone? Yeah, that's how many times he went back to the Super Bowl. See, you don't know. You don't want to be that team. You don't want to be the team that, we had a little playoff run, but it came to an end, and better luck next year. We'll get them. Yeah, BS. Tomorrow never comes. Win now. Not worry about tomorrow when tomorrow comes, when it does come. Otherwise, just counting on next year and tomorrow and this and that. I'll mop the floor tomorrow. Yeah, sure you will. I'll do the laundry tomorrow. Yeah, sure you will. Just do it now if you have time. That kind of thing. Obviously, this is a heck of a lot bigger than doing the laundry or mopping the floor, even though those things are extremely important. As far as I'm concerned, they are. But this is the Western Conference Finals. Yeah. Time to get serious, guys. And keep it coming. Keep it coming. I mean, it's the third West Finals in franchise history. And it's, when did we start playing? 1989, right? That's 36 years ago. 36 years ago. Almost pushing 40, huh? There's some players still alive. There's some players still around that were born in 1989, but they're some of the oldest players in the league now. Seems like yesterday they were little kids, but I digress. This is very important. So anyhow, these were all on Twitter or X. It's at TWellsDX. Otherwise, Facebook.com/Timberwolves Explosion. And then Timberwolves_Explosion, I believe, is the Instagram. I always forget because I suck. Yeah, I better get going here too. I'm running out of time. Isn't that great? So you'll notice the show is probably posted a little later, but that's how it's going to have to be. I can't find it. I can't find it. That's what I get for having it up. Timberwolves_Explosion. Yeah, that's what I should have known. That's what it is. So anyhow, thank you so much for listening. God bless all of you. Timberwolves, keep it up. This is an opportunity. This is real. This is not just a maybe. This is a real opportunity. Snatch it, grab it, embrace it, and let's win a championship, baby. Let's do it. Let's do it. Let's do it. Easier said than done. But it absolutely can be done, and that's the most important part. Please do put a 5-star rating on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or any other app that is out there. Greatly appreciate it if you could please do that. Crush the like button, basically, if it's on YouTube. If you happen to be listening to this in the audio podcast part on YouTube or anything else, please share this and share this with your friends. Continue to do that. The show needs to grow again. It's been plateauing for years and years and years, even with the team doing better. But there's been a little surge, but like, hello, there better be. You go from a team that's missing the playoffs every year to making the playoffs, was it 4 or 5 years in a row, and then 2 Western Conference Finals in a row. They better be doing something. But yes, if you could do that, please do. Audio submissions are more than welcome. You record something on your phone and send it to me, or your laptop or desktop. Well, PaladinoLive@gmail.com. Otherwise, PaladinoLive@yahoo.com still works, but Gmail. Let's switch it to Gmail. And maybe I can count on that a little bit more. With all of that said, thank you. God bless all of you, and go Timberwolves. Let's get this done.